Yeah, g'day there, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, the Bio-Boosted Squirrel, and I'm back again. I'm back from holidays and everything else that you do over the holiday period, and I hope you all had a good Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's, or Happy New Year's? Happy well, I can't say what I want to say because, YouTube and all that. So, anyway, today we're going to be talking about, yes, some certain well-known, best-selling, and I'm using quotes here. Please take the air quotes as a thing here. Air quotes, best-selling author John Delarose and John F. Trent from over at Bounding. No, not Bounding. John was at Bounding into comics, and we're going to get into that, and we're going to get into all of the rest, but it's actually Fandom Pulse that John Delarose owns, and oh my god, is that guy a weirdo. Bit of a Puritan, fundamentalist, zealot, wanker. So let's go to the news desk and have a look at what we've got. And here we are. I like my new little it's not a new transition. I'm actually working on all of that stuff. I'm actually working on something else secret behind the scenes. I've been doing stuff. I haven't been sitting around with my finger up my butt. I have been working on, it's coming, but I've got to, get it all organized first and pay for it and all of that stuff. So things to come. So yes, but here we are over at the news desk. And for starters, Mr. Delarose, obviously, people know about this guy. He's been around, God, at least since around 2013 with Comicsgate and all of the rest of it. Johnny Boy himself, seems to do a lot of things. None of them very well. Anyway, let's go and have a look at what we got. So, this is where I start doing my new thing. I've got, I can slide in and out. It's cool. OBS is improving. So, as always, I start my stuff off with a start page search. It's like a Google search, only something different. You might all know what that is. And I went through and I had a look at John Delarose's stuff. Here we've got his book, Justified, the Saga of the Nano Templar. Okay, he obviously wants to give you 3 free books. He really wants you to have a look at these. And I have said before, now look, one of my past streams, I said, okay, I was subscribed to John and the other John and Melanie Mack and Dredd Roberts and all of the other Puritans that everyone's going off about Goonergate for. Obviously, you saw the prayer at the start. You should all start saying that as well. That's, a good thing. Over-caffeination, squirrel. Calm down. All right. So anyway, John's got quite a few books that he's put out over the years. It was involved with Comicsgate, obviously. Ethan Van Sciver, all the rest of it. I'm not a big comics nerd myself, so, this is all sort of new to me. And having learned about John after his whole rant on, how people should go into stocks for public degeneracy, and we'll get to that later, and all the rest of it, I started paying attention to him. I'd already unsubscribed from John F. Trent quite a while ago, in about October last year, because he had written an article in that Park Place where at the end of it, he started going on about, the Catholic Church and how something said sodomy was bad. The article's out there. I actually went and put it onto the Wayback Machine. So if you want to go and have a look at that, it's there. But I will find that later on if I have to, because I've got quite a few tabs open here, and this is going to take a while to get through. So obviously, John's got quite a theme going with, Nano Templars, Christian theology and ideology and everything else. And yeah, we'll get to that. This is his Amazon best-selling page. He's got, a few books here, most of them with less than 200 reviews except for this one. What's that? It's for Steam and Country. That's got 536. But, overall, if you average those out, it wouldn't come out to be very much. These are the ones maybe he gives out for free on Kindle. I don't use Amazon a lot, so this is also newish to me. But as we can see, he's quite the prolific writer, and I'm using air quotes for that, and there's a reason for that, because he doesn't seem to understand how to phrase a sentence. If anyone else has seen The Weekly Worm, you'll know that other people say that he writes like a preschooler. So there's that. That's kind of funny too. I might even bring that up later. But again, many tabs. So yeah, he writes a lot. On Goodreads, he's got, what's he got? 641, currently reading Brandon Sanderson, which he was, I don't know, I read something about that. Again, I don't know a great deal about this guy until I started looking at him in the last couple of weeks after I realized that John F. Trent was working over at Fandom Pulse, and that was the new go-to thing for people to get their, news from, or some of their news from, which is here. Obviously, John is a big fan of self-promotion because he plasters this shit all over the front of his own, a Substack page. So this is quite a thing with him as well. John's got a few themes. One of them's self-promotion. One of them's crying cancel. Everyone's trying to cancel him, which isn't the case, John. No one's trying to cancel you in these cases. And as Hypnotic has said on his streams, no one is trying to cancel you. We don't care what your religion is. We just don't want it pushed down our throats the same way as the DEI shit. It's just the same side of the flip of the coin, of the flipped coin. Depends on which side it'll land with this. Horseshoe theory is a real thing. Because then we get to John saying there was never a satanic panic, which pretty quickly got community noted. It was a mainstream media psyop to remove Christianity from the culture. No. How? What? I thought it was to stop people. How is it to remove people from Christianity? I don't understand that. That's a bit out there. That's why our culture sucks now, because boomers fell for it. Don't be like boomers. Okay? Sure. Obviously, John's got quite a few replies, some of them from Christians themselves who don't agree with him at all. Absolute bullshit. For clarification, I did not live during the 80s. I was born in 01, but I was still affected by it. And in fact, that's where I wanted to bring up Australia being affected by it as well, up until about 2013, because we weren't allowed a video game rating for adults in an R18 classification until 2013. We had our own version of a guy in Parliament in South Australia by the name of Michael Atkinson, and the guy was an Anglican, a religious type. And here I am popping up, ha ha ha. So yeah, Michael Atkinson blocked this until he stepped down from Parliament in 2010, and it took another 3 years after that. So he was the only thing stopping adults from playing adult games at the time. I've got a copy of the original Dark Sector in my drawer here that I shouldn't have. It shouldn't have escaped into the country here, but it did. It made it, and I got my hands on it, and it's one of my favorite games because it had the blood and gore left in it, and the glaive. I love the glaive. It's an awesome weapon. I will play that one day on here. I am going to do some streaming and games and stuff like that because, don't want everyone saying I'm a grifter, because I don't care. Whatever. You can do that. But I do play games, and I'm going to play games. So, yeah, if you guys want to see me play games, you can come and watch me when I play some games. I don't think John, the two Johns, this is going to be hard. Anyway, I don't think they play very many games. John himself has said that he only plays Mario Kart and MLB with his kids, so... okay, sure, John. But yeah, John doesn't think there was a satanic panic, and everyone's disagreed with him, and he got community noted. Then he says to Hypnotic a couple of days ago, after he posts up about Games Workshop cancels the 40k RPG. Stop scrolling Fandom Pulse for content. And I thought that's what you wanted, John. I thought you wanted people going to John F. Trent's editing and his videos so they could see what was going on. I thought that was what you wanted. Is all publicity good publicity or bad publicity not good publicity? I'm not sure. I'm not a comics guy or, a twat like John. Whoop. You'll never know where I'm going to appear. So, and I've said straight away, lying is sinful, John, and told him to repent. And Hypnotic is straight up done with John, has blocked him. I haven't. I don't block people because how do you see what people are saying that's stupid if you block them? It's not going to work very well. So I try not to block people. Sometimes I'll mute accounts if they're, just flat out annoying or stupid. Obviously. And yeah, again, here we go. People replying to John. I guess the most ideological zealots. Yep. Zealot is a good word. Such as yourself, with so much to be ashamed about and hide. Such glorious skeletons to show everyone as a closet gay furry. Do you practice most gay furry traditions too? And obviously we've got Paul Lemmy Winks there. King of the gerbils. Anyway. So, John, yes. I went and asked Grok 3 questions about each of these two Johns. The first one is about John Delarore's controversies. And Grok was quite forthcoming, and I've done this a few times just to make sure that it, picks up what it needs to. John Delarose is a notable figure in the science fiction and fantasy writing community, known for his works in space opera and steampunk genres. Cool. I mean, I like space opera, and steampunk I'm not so much a fan of, but it's cool. However, he has also been at the center of several controversies, particularly within the sci-fi community. Here's an overview based on available information. And anyone could do this, obviously, but I'm just making it easier. And Grok makes it easier for me to, I'm a bit all over the place, obviously. So sometimes I have trouble writing stuff down and sticking to it. This is a really good tool for me. Harassing and trolling. Delarose has been accused of engaging in harassment and trolling behavior towards other authors and fans. This includes targeting individuals with insults and using slurs. Notably using autism as an insult. Well, his actions have led to significant backlash and criticism from peers in the writing community. A Worldcon ban. And this is another thing you'll find common with John. He gets banned from a lot of places, not just things like Worldcon, but places like Kickstarter and what's the other one? Indiegogo or GoFundMe or something like, one of the funding sites that he's been kicked out of a few of those. I did read an article from John F. Trent again saying, he's been kicked out and they didn't give him a reason. But I think if you go and have a look at his history, there's a few reasons to be found in this sort of shit. In 2018, Delarose was banned from attending Worldcon 76 in person. The decision was based on his stated intentions to violate the convention's code of conduct, with the committee citing concerns about racist and bullying behavior. The incident sparked a significant amount of discussion within the sci-fi community about conduct, inclusivity, and the consequences of online behavior. Totally fair on their part. SFWA membership. His application for membership for the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America was met with controversy due to his previous actions and statements. So you reap what you sow? Is that not what they state in that Bible thingy? There were concerns that his behavior did not align with the organization's code of ethics, leading to discussions about inclusivity, political beliefs, and professional conduct in the genre community. Now, the professional conduct thing is kind of interesting to me because obviously Johnny isn't behaving very professionally at the moment. Or, decently at all. So, yeah, sure. Legal threats. Delarose has threatened legal actions against organizations like Worldcon and GAMA, the Game Manufacturers Association. These threats often stem from his claims of discrimination based on his political and religious views. Although these claims are frequently contested by those who argue his actions, not his belief, are the root of the issue. And that's part of the problem. And it's not just his beliefs that are, not in question, but I guess in question of why he's been so hypocritical with them. Because the hypocrisy from these two is absolutely rife. I mean, if you want to believe that there's God and a place after death in the sky, heaven, and all the rest of it, and a hell that you think the rest of us are going to go into because we're impure and what did Melanie Mack say? What was she calling everyone? Perverted, demonic, that sort of shit. If we're perverted, demonic, possessed things and we're going to hell, I mean, sure, you can try and save us. That's fine. I don't mind, but I don't believe in things like that. I just don't think there's a God. Sorry, that's just me. I'm more of a science-based guy. If I can't see it, no one's ever talked to God. I've never seen someone have a conversation with God. If someone could film themselves sitting there having a conversation with God, then I'm going to believe in God. But hey, no one's done it yet, so let me know when that happens and we'll talk. Social media and public perception. His activities on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, have sometimes amplified his controversies, with posts highlighting ongoing feuds or attempting to rally support for his causes. Another ongoing theme, like he's trying to rally people behind Christians. Christians are trying to be cancelled and we're trying to be driven out of gaming, and we'll get to that. There are mentions of him being banned from or having issues with social media platforms due to violations of the rules. Okay, it sounds fair, because we'll go through it. Community reaction, and this is part of why when I found out that he was associated with John Trent, I sort of went, maybe I'll... And then he started with all the Puritan crap. Reactions within the sci-fi and fantasy community are polarized. Some see Delarose as a victim of political censorship, no, while others view him as a provocateur who uses controversy for self-promotion. I would say that's probably closer, actually dead fucking nail on the head. His involvement with projects like Star Realms and his self-description as the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction have been both points of pride and contention. That I can't speak to. I might have seen something somewhere where there was mention of an organization having said something like that, but whatever. I mean, if he's good at what he does, great. And I might end up getting some books and having a read through them just to see. I'll get the 3 freebies, and because free is everyone's favorite word, and I'll have a read through them. And like I said, I'm not really a comics guy, so I might have to. They weren't ever available to me when I was growing up, so I more had to rely on TV, stuff like the Spider-Man shows and things like that to get my fix of, superheroes and whatever else. Grew up in a country town, and only the local radio stations. They didn't have comic book shops there. So, the controversy surrounding John Delarose illustrate the complex interplay between personal conduct, political beliefs, and community standards within niche cultural spaces like science fiction and fantasy literature. His case highlights ongoing debates about free speech, harassment, and the responsibilities of individuals within professional and fan communities. And the free speech thing, no one's trying to cancel you, John. No one wants you not to have a platform. We absolutely think you should have one, but again, just like with Alyssa McCante and Nick Calandra and all of the other, Rebecca Valentine, you name it, you know what I'm talking about here. And in my intro, I said, hey, I'm here to have a go at journalists, and I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. I'm going to have a go at all of you. I'm just a fan that, I look to places like this to get some news about what's going on, what I should be looking to spend my money on, and what I want to spend my time entertaining myself with. And you're not doing a real good job of convincing me that you're going to be very trustworthy for that. So, I then went and asked Rock, is he a best-selling author by the usual standards? And ignore the 2 T's. John Delarose is often described as a #1 best-selling Amazon author, in quotes, which is a claim based on achieving the top spot in a specific category on Amazon sales rankings, even if that category is relatively niche. Okay, so how does this apply to him? Delarose has indeed hit the #1 spot in several specific, keyword there, categories on Amazon, particularly in subgenres like space opera or steampunk within science fiction. Okay, and I would say they're not really as niche as, it's all over the place as far as I know, but his might be more, I don't know. Again, I'm going to have to read some of his stuff, I think, so I think I'll get the 3 freebies. His books such as For Steam and Country, and that's one of them, Star Realms, Rescue Run, Star Wars, have been highlighted as bestsellers in these categories, okay? However, Amazon's bestseller lists are dynamic and can include many niche categories, so achieving #1 in very specific categories does not necessarily equate to widespread mainstream bestseller status. Okay, cool, whatever, but they did seem to be pretty well reviewed, despite the low numbers. 4, 4, 4, 4.5, 4.5 over there. Okay. We were up to here, weren't we? Sales volume and recognition. While Delarose's books have sold well enough to claim top spots in their respective Amazon categories, the actual sales volume compared to mainstream bestsellers can be significantly lower. His recognition and sales are largely within specific communities or among fans of indie science fiction rather than having a broad mainstream appeal. Okay, and that seems fair so far. Selling on Amazon instead of, Amazon get a lot of book sales, I guess, for self-publishing. I know of a flat earther that tried to publish a book that was nothing but Discord chats he'd had with, what he called globalists or oh my God, flat earthers are such a pain in the ass. That's why I started doing this. Anyway, some of this stuff can be actually, I've seen people say they think Melanie Mack's arguing like a flat earther, and I've actually said, look, I've seen John F. Trent argue like a flat earther a couple of days ago. I might try and pull that one up if I can remember. So, marketing and self-promotion. This is, another thing. Much of Delarose's success can also be attributed to his active engagement on social media and with his fan base, which helps in promoting his books. He promotes his shit everywhere. His approach to marketing includes leveraging controversies and engaging directly with his audience, which can drive sales within his niche, but doesn't necessarily translate to traditional bestseller status. And when people say bestseller, I'm thinking of something like, the New York Times bestseller list. among others. Pulitzer winners. I don't even know that. I'm not too sure about how the Pulitzers work. But anyway, in conclusion, while John Delarose can legitimately claim to be an Amazon best-selling author in certain niche categories by the more conventional standards of bestseller lists that encompass broader sales data across multiple outlets and genres, he does not meet those criteria. Well, okay, so it's a marketing thing. His status is more aligned with indie or niche market success rather than mainstream broad market bestseller recognition. I mean, it's a technicality, but I'm going to give Grok that one. Now, this is where we get into some darker stuff involving John, not the other John, just John himself. Delarose's involvement in the Ed Piskor incident, and this I had to learn about, and we're going to go over. I'm not going to go over too much of this, but this I think is important. Is primarily, and this is where it does say that, is primarily through his commentary and coverage of the events surrounding Piskor's allegation and subsequent death, because he died. Here's how he was involved based on available information. Commentary and coverage. John Delarose used his platform, notably his YouTube channel and social media, to discuss and report on the allegations against Ed Piskor. Piskor, a comic artist known for works like Hip Hop Family Tree and X-Men Grand Design, faced accusations of inappropriate behavior, including grooming and actual misconduct. Delarose's coverage was often framed in the context of critiquing what he perceived as cancel culture within the comic book industry, which, okay, I mean, if that's how it's... I have to read through more about this to get more of a grasp on what happened, but I have a vague idea. Accusations of opportunism. Some have criticized Delarose for capitalizing on Piskor's situation to gain attention or to push his narrative against what he calls the woke mob, which he's now calling, everyone that's going and saying, well, disagreeing with him, the same thing, or cancel culture. And that seems to be, again, like I said, something that he's claimed many, many, many times. The first time I saw him say, oh, you guys are trying to cancel me, I said, no, they're not. They're just calling you out. Same as they would Alyssa, same as they would Rebecca Valentine, same as they would Nick Calandra, etc., etc., etc. This criticism stems from posts and videos where he seemed to shift his stance or tone depending on the situation's developments, particularly after Piskor's offing death was announced. Death. People die. Social media reactions. Posts on platforms like X have accused Delarose of contributing to the media dogpile that preceded Piskor's Sudoku. I'm not going to say the word. There's sentiment among some users that Delarose's reporting was of the broader online frenzy that may have exacerbated Piskor's situation. So, again, the next one here. This is from John's YouTube page. Cartoonist, creepy DMs there's evidence that this happened. Aftermath and reflections. After Piskor's death, Delarose has been monetized in discussions about responsibility, ethics and journalism, I'm going to say, and the impact of social media on personal lives. Some have highlighted his actions as part of the broader problem of how online discourse can lead to real-world consequences. And obviously with Alyssa and Smash JT, that's going on. So, yeah, Alyssa had airfagged, docs, Smash JT, posted his information and didn't put hers in the same... Yeah. Anyway, absolute idiots. That's going to lose. She's going to lose that shit. So, context and nuance. Delarose did not make the original allegations against Piskor, and it is crucial to note this. Those came from other individuals within the comic book community. His involvement was more about commentary on the situation rather than being a direct accuser. John Delarose was already a controversial figure. His reputation as a controversial figure within the comic and science fiction community means his involvement in an issue is likely to be viewed through a lens of skepticism or criticism by some, while others may see him as a voice against perceived industry bias, which, you're always going to have fans, one side of the aisle or the other. They obviously, the woke have theirs. The horseshoe side of the woke, John and his Puritan zealot fundy friends have theirs. So, yeah, we're all stuck in the middle with each other. Information reliability. The information available on social media or through Delarose's channels might be subject to bias or selective reporting. No, you don't say. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tells you. Not that shocked. Reflecting his viewpoints, or those of his followers, and that of John F. Trent as well. We'll get to that. In summary, John De La Rosa's role in the Ed Piskor incident was as a commentator and critic of the situation, with his actions and words seen by some as part of the broader narrative around cancel culture, while others viewed his involvement as potentially harmful or opportunistic. The complexity of the situation is compounded by the ongoing debates about the ethics of online behaviour, the responsibilities of those with public platforms, and the tragic outcome for Piskor. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And this can be done by anyone again, so I'll leave, the prompts are there. All I did was ask about John De La Rosa's controversies. Is he a best-selling author by the usual standards? And, how was he involved with that horrible thing? So, yeah, dude's got a bit of a history, which we get to here. Which is gayer? Being gay, Kingdom Come Deliverance too. And this is where we get to the good, juicy stuff. Because John's a closet furry. I don't know if it was closeted because this was posted on his YouTube. On his Twitter. I'm not calling it X because it's Twitter. X is a letter. It's not a business name or a website. It's a letter of the alphabet. Please don't forget that Edwin the Ace and Gignostic Pig want some of that fine piece of Lucario ass. Yeah, boy, get in there. That's pretty gay, John. And of course, we've got Rosary Warrior John F. Trent. They're the same picture. You yiffing out there, Johnny boy? What do we got here? What's this shit? What? Look, I'm not going to shame anyone. Obviously, I got Squirrel Girl hanging out in my news desk room, the newsroom over there behind us. We'll go back over there. Look, Squirrel Girl. Right there. She's there hanging out with me. So, weird shit is cool. I like Squirrel Girl. Probably would. Wood Nut Insider. You know what I'm talking about there. Anyway. We're all into weird shit, John. But when you get up on a pedestal and start yelling at people that they're impure and naughty, coming alt furry, and you're having a go at the rest of us for degeneracy? When are we bringing the crucifixions and the stonings back, Johnny boy? Which is what I want to know. They are stockades there. I thought I got them confused with pillories, which are different. But that stockades are where you sit down, you got your feet in those, and people throw shit at you. Like fruit and whatnot. But how long is it? Like, when do we go back? Straight to the pillory and back to the crucifixions? Which a pillory was actually sort of more designed off. The crucifix that people have got on the little chains around their necks, that's not what a crucifix actually looked like. That's not the cross Jesus died on. It was more like a capital T, made out of wood. You were strung over the top of it, and then you were nailed to the front of it. Your hands were nailed to the front of that, wrapped around the wood, and that was really fucking uncomfortable way to die. You'd be half bent over, nailed to this T of wood. So when do we go back to that, John? Because that seems like a fundamentalist fucking thing. That seems pretty zealotry to do. I called him an extremist for this when I first saw this. This is the guy that's saying, oh, we should put Lily in the stocks. And don't get me wrong, what she did was gross, and what these other women are doing where they're sleeping with thousands of dudes a day, gross. That's ick. But mental institutions, drugs, therapy, whatever, get them help. Don't stick them in fucking stocks or pillories. I thought that's not very Christian of you, John. Not very Christian of you at all. So here we get to a webpage I came across, scrolling through all of this crap, looking at this guy. And this, as you can see, is from January 14, 2018. So this guy's got a history. John De La Rosa's history of trolling and harassment. So he loves going around trolling, harassing people and, calling them names, apparently having a go at autistic people, and I'm going to have to look that up because I haven't seen that far, but I'm sure it's out there. The internet is forever. Apparently, he allegedly doxed Ethan Van Sciver, which obviously I learned about that on the Weekly Worm thing, and then I found this afterwards. So, this guy's got a long history. Trolling. This is a long page. Look at this bar on the left there. It's a long page. I can't grab it. I might be over caffeinated. Nope, there we go. Look at this. This is comment, like the page. Where does the page stop? About a quarter of the way down. And then the comments start. John has a long history of being a douche nozzle, it seems. And he's ignoring all of this crap because he has to. Not very Christian of you, John. You should repent, MFer. As Hypnotic says, I don't have any of the fancy stuff for that, but I'll get there. I will eventually have some little flashy things. Right now, you're just going to have to settle for me sliding around the screen, and I'm not managing that very well. See, sometimes you'll get two of me. Ha! Okay, let's go from here. All right. So, I'll leave all the links for this stuff in the description below after the stream as well, if you guys want to go and have a read of any of this and have a look at John and John's histories, because these guys can't be trusted to bring us any sort of news, any sort of unbiased reporting, any sort of, anything, because they're always going to, and if we look at John De La Rosa's actual YouTube channel, which I think he's still live at the moment. Nope, he was live. I went and had a look at that, and I dropped a comment in there. How's Lucario with the PH agate? I don't usually call people names like that, but I thought that was apt. I mean, Kingdom Come is gay. Games Workshop roasted. Is Bane Books dying? So yeah, he was live for a couple of hours and change. But this is just in my history to show that I was actually subscribed to him probably in, when was that? 11th of August last year. Right up until about October, or November, whenever it was that John Trent said he was going over there. And I was already on to Trent before that, round about the time that he posted this whole, like I said, that Park Place article talking about, I think it was a Green Lantern, one of the Green Lanterns committing sodomy or something like that. And he put in something from the Catholic Church, part of its doctrine thing that's, I don't know what to believe when it comes, or where to read any of that crap. I've got a Bible. I was raised Roman Catholic, by the way. So I sort of have an idea about the church and the Bible. Got one sitting in the front room there. Needs a little bit of doing up. My grandmother gave it to me. She was a devout Roman Catholic. But my Roman Catholic grandma also let me hire Alien vs. Predator for the Super Nintendo over the weekends that I was at her place, and would let me play them to my heart's content. She didn't care that it was blood and guts and violence because it was green mostly, and it was Alien vs. Predator. It wasn't people, so yeah. But my grandma let me do stuff like that. Bought me Bionic Commando and Alien 3 on the Nintendo, which I should have done. Should have got something else instead of that. But anyway, that's how long I've been gaming. Bionic Commando on the original NES, and before that even. Played with I had a Game Boy Advance, PlayStation original. I didn't get a PC until a few years back, about 5 years now, but I've had a gaming PC for 5 years. I'm looking to upgrade my card to a 30-something, 90 probably, if I can get my hands on one. Let me know if you've got one for sale. Cheap. I'll give you a bag of peanuts. Squirrel currency. That's what we deal with. So, getting closer up. Right. So, John's obviously got a few things on his channel, and I mean, this is the one for Dread Roberts. I was subscribed to him. I was massively disappointed in Dread Roberts when he said, oh, starting the whole Goonergate thing off in the first place. Huh. Anyway, just wanted to show that I, was subbed to these guys, did watch their stuff, and was supportive of them up until a point. Now we're going to move on to Johnny Trent. Johnny Boy Trent, who has blocked me on Twitter after I questioned him about, well, if some boobs and butts are bad, what's going on with this thing here that you've posted about? And we'll get to that, because oh boy, if tits and ass are bad, oh boy, what Johnny is doing is, wow. So, I went and asked Grok about John F. Trent again. John F. Trent is a figure known in the media landscape for his involvement in various aspects of journalism, particularly in the realms of pop culture, gaming, and sports. I don't know. I don't know if John's a gamer or not. I wouldn't have a clue. I know Delaroz has said he only plays Mario Kart and MLB with his kids. Cool. So, that's what we've got to go on. Here's an overview based on the available sources. Professional background. John F. Trent has held several editorial roles, notably as the editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics, which I'm subscribed to still, and I quite like how Cider, the guy that does that over there, does that. And I've had a look at the bit of the history there, and I've actually reached out to Cider to have a talk to him about some of this, and I wasn't going to sort of quote him or, just wanted to know what the general deal with it was. Haven't heard back from him. That's fine. Not a problem. I can look into this myself. So he's had several editorial roles, notably as the editor-in-chief, and I believe he founded Bounding Into Comics, a site known for covering comic books, movies, and gaming with a conservative perspective. Again, that's fine. Not a problem. If you're not... You're fine to have that. The problem is when you get found out as a hypocrite pushing this shit. He later moved to That Park Place, we'll get to that, where he continued his role as editor-in-chief before transitioning to focus on a Substack strategy with Fandom Pulse. And I think I probably should go there first. So, John Trent named editor-in-chief of That Park Place, new design and features coming January 1st, 2024. So this is barely a year ago. Just over, it's 13 months. That Park Place is preparing for another major step in covering pop culture and news and analysis. Today, we're making a major change that we expect to alter the landscape of news coverage. That Park Place is pleased to announce that John Trent has been named the editor-in-chief of That Park Place with a multi-year plan to transform content and coverage of pop culture news and analysis. Now, that's the bit that made me go, oh, hang on, when I first read this. Because as far as I knew, John was doing this, and then all of a sudden, in about October it was last year, he was over at Fandom Pulse. You don't sign a multi-year plan to help transform a place like That Park Place, like a media coverage focusing on pop culture gaming stuff. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. These guys are a pretty big deal. I've actually been watching them since they first came out. I think I heard about them through Clownfish TV, but then started looking at WDW Pro and Valiant Renegade and all the rest of them. I've seen them. I'm subscribed to them, so have been for a while. Clownfish as well. I get everywhere. I try to get news from everywhere. I'll look at everything. I will look at even Kotaku and The Verge, and it's surprising as this made a beta people. I'll go and read a lot of their shit and still go, a lot of it is trash. So, when something like this happens, and when someone like John Trent, who is actually a pretty good reporter, he gets some pretty good scoops, I'm not going to say he's not good at covering pop culture and gaming and anything else, unless he's trying to say, oh, this is completely gay, and the thing with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, people are saying, well, stuff like that's been in RPGs for years. The thing about it is we don't care about any of it. You can put your Christian moralistic game together and bring it to us. If it's a good game with a good story and good gameplay, we'll probably play it and have a go at it. Same as with the things like Concord and Dustborn and all the flops of 2024. Go ahead and release it. That's fine. The market will decide whether or not it wants to play it or not. It's up to the people making it to make us convinced to play it. You see where I'm going with this? It's not that hard to please us. We've got money. We're willing to spend it. We just, want to spend it on quality stuff. Mr. Trent will be working with That Park Place team to redesign. I'd say, it's really weird that you'd sign a multi-year deal. Or I don't know if he signed anything, but there was a multi-year plan to transform content and coverage of pop culture news and analysis. Mr. Trent will be working with That Park Place, with the That Park Place team to redesign the site, generate the highest quality entertainment coverage of pop culture on the web, and add a significant number of new features across the site. John joins That Park Place not only on the website, but is now an official partner and collaborator on That Park Place's YouTube channel, the WDW Pro YouTube channel, and other That Park Place News Network partners. John is also launching a brand new YouTube channel which will facilitate even more news coverage, The Trent Report. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed. I'm subscribed to That Park Place anyway to get news from. Obviously, I've got it bookmarked. I've got this one bookmarked, and I've got the main site bookmarked. So yeah, here we go. John Trent is the founder of Bounding into Comics, one of the premier entertainment and pop culture websites in North America. He served as editor-in-chief from 2014 to 2023, so 9 years. And from what I've heard, he started, it started getting bad. During his tenure at Bounding into Comics, John saw overwhelming growth of the site, both in terms of readership and culture impact. And that's the thing. He exploded. I'd never heard of him before until he started appearing on that Park Place and everywhere else. And I hadn't seen Bounding into Comics before, but I obviously went and subscribed to it without knowing any of this a couple of years ago anyway. So maybe around 2021, too, maybe. I didn't use them a real lot, but I like I said, go everywhere I can to see what I can, figure out what's going on. John saw overwhelming growth in the site, both in terms of readership and culture impact. Entire YouTube channel ecosystems grew into phenomenal success in part by reading and analyzing John's articles. We'll get to that. As a key component of their content delivery. Where was that? No, we got to that, didn't we? Stop scrolling Fandom Pulse for content and then cancelling us, lol. Your whole channel is just you stealing John Trent's content. Now you're not even sourcing us when you do. I'm being fucking seriously. Damn, fucking seriously. Yes, and thank you, Hyper Johnson. Thank you. Sorry, I've only just brought up my my chat. I didn't realize there were people there. Hello, guys. Thank you for coming and having a look. Saw my shameless self-promotion on Hypnotics, lol. Ha, yes. Yeah, I did that. Spent a couple of bucks. You got to start somewhere, don't you? So, yeah, I mean, stop using John F. Trent. Okay, if you want us to stop using them, we'll stop using them. That's fine. I'll take you at your word, John. You know. So, he also does some, auto racing stuff, blah, blah, blah. That Park Place has seen website traffic increase by more than quadruple as our team has prepared for a major transition. We anticipate that number to steadily increase even further as John's incredible and one-of-a-kind talents are expressed with an already expressive team of authors and contributors. Furthermore, we strongly feel that this new endeavor will empower Mr. Trent to do even more no-holds-barred journalism regarding the entertainment industry and pop culture and provide a strong foundation for those seeking non-corporate news coverage in a world ever more beholden to narrative dictates beyond factual representation of our world. Might be why they that Park Place saw him out, maybe. It might be. Again, you go putting your own personal religious beliefs into things like, your entertainment reporting. That's what turned me off. I'm just saying. No, I was already here. Yeah, here we go. Hide up here. So, Mr. Trent, a couple of days back, when Dread Roberts decided to go all out and say, oh, we don't want to see this stuff. We don't want it to swing too far the other way. Rah, rah, rah. Pirate Nation posted, is this what gamers want? John F. Trent, nope. Oh, okay. No. Okay, cool. The first Descendant actually has a mature 17+ rating on the ESRB website for America. So, I mean, who are you to tell people that they, above the age of 17, can't be playing something? Oh, yeah, I was going to bring that one up last. Anyway, that one's kind of funny. I missed a couple of things here. So yeah, this was an article that John apparently didn't go over that. Anyway, moving on. We've gotten to this now, so we're going to move on. So John doesn't want to see butts and boobs and things in there, even though it's rated for it. And again, like I said earlier, Australia didn't have a rating for stuff like that for R18+ until 2013. So fuck you, John, and fuck Michael Atkinson. It's way beyond, and 8 minutes that YouTube will bust me for. Rosary Warrior. Oh my God, that's such a cringy top tag. Is this what gamers want? Yes, I think so. You see there, Crimson Desert. This actually looks kind of cool. I've been looking into this. Is there anything you can't do in Crimson Desert? Lol. Keck. So Dread Robertson, Rosary Warrior, John F. Trent sitting there going, oh, hey, look, riding a dragon, that's going to be cool in this game, isn't it? Well, I saw that and I was like, hang on, wait a second. I remember something about this. That's demonic though, John. You probably shouldn't want this, right? Because the incarnation of Saturn itself, Satan himself, sorry, Saturn's a cool fabric. This is from the Denver Catholic website, denvercatholic.org/have nothing to do with the dragon, part 1, New Age practices, by Deacon Derek Johnson. We're going to read this all the way through, Johnny boy, and I hope you're listening because, oh boy. As a spiritual but not religious cohort of our society continues to grow, there has been an alarming rise of interest in New Age spirituality and the occult, especially among young people. I don't know how old John is, but I don't think he's older than me. I'm in my 40s-ish, not mid yet. I'm mid, early, just shush. No matter how innocuous or silly these practices may seem, make no mistake, they are dangerous. Catholics... Now, I'm just going to... where was that? Rosary Warrior, John F. Trent, being a Catholic, should know about this. Catholics are called to be vigilant and understand that such practices are not to be meddled in. Oh. Like as in playing a video game where you might be riding a dragon? As they can be avenues for Satan. I'm dyslexic. Give me a break. And other dark spiritual forces to come and wreak havoc on souls. This series of articles will address some of these practices and how we as Catholics ought to respond. We'll read part 2 in a minute. I'll click onto that. When I was a child, my mother would tell me stories of the occult and rising black magic practitioners in her native country of Vietnam. I remember hearing stories of people her family knew who were desperate for healing or wanted a particular outcome for something in their life, going to someone that claimed to provide a service for the right price. They pass a little plate round at Sunday Mass every week, don't they? The Catholic Church has got billion, maybe trillions of dollars in gold and property around the world. Anyway. While these stories had different details, she was clear. These things never ended well, and evil was always evil, no matter what the intended outcome. I didn't give these stories much thought until before my inordination. When I noticed the growing trend of mainstream Satanism, I got it right that time, and the occult becoming more prevalent around me. In the years that I have been a deacon, I have noticed that this trend is growing, even with our parishes and our families. To say that times have changed in the last 20 or so years is an understatement. When was this written? 2023. So 2 years ago. Okay, so, yeah, righto. Right about since, the time of the original satanic panic that Mr. Delarose didn't think happened. Anyway, all right, cool. So about 20 years. So around the time that this shit was first put in its place and said, no, don't tell people what they can and can't do. So this has happened before, and it's happening again, and we're not gonna stomp it out, but we're not gonna let it happen. You're allowed to have your stupid takes and claims, and no one's trying to cancel you, but you can expect to be called out for it. Especially when I go reading shit like this, and I see people like Melanie Mack calling me a perverted, demonic, possessed, fucking whatever for playing. I mean, she was all good with Stellar Blade, she's all good with costumes in Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy as a whole. Dread Robertson and John himself seem to be wanting to ride around the actual incarnation of Satan, the 7-headed 10-crowned dragon in Revelations. That's what the thing is. The dragon is actually an incarnation of Satan during Revelations when it's supposed to happen. Whenever that's supposed to happen. Because, it's been 2,000 years. 2,000 and a quarter century. When's he going to turn up? I thought it was supposed to happen within the time of the apostles, according to... And I had an argument with Dread Roberts about that. He said, that's the metaphorical part. Which part is a metaphor, and which part do we actually supposed to take as the word of God? When do we start treating it as such? Anyway. Okay. Rosary Warrior, yeah. Rosary Vampire, that's a good one. I mean, like I said, he's good at what he does with some of the reporting, but I'm not going to be trusting him at all. Fandom Pulse. I'm not going to be using them. I'm not going to cancel them. They haven't blocked me yet. John Delaroz, who also posts as Fandom Pulse, who also reposts John Delaroz's like weird self-promotional. I can't really speak too much to that. I did pay for some promotion on Hypnotics, like you said. But hey, I'm only little. And I'm not trying to grift people. I'm just trying to say, hey, look, I've got problems with this shit. I'm just one of those ordinary gamers from Australia, that gives a shit about this sort of thing because I've been through it. I worked at a game store when Michael Atkinson was in power, and every time someone had come in, I'd tell them about the petition and the efforts to get an adult rating for mature video games in Australia. 12 years we've had it. So don't fucking tell me that there was no satanic panic and Christians are being cancelled and driven out of gaming. We want everyone to be in gaming. We just don't want to be preached at. Thank you very much. Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask just to be entertained from a game? I don't think it is. So, going on. I didn't give these Satanism and the occult becoming more prevalent around me. In the years I have been a deacon, I've noticed this trend is growing. I've read that. Blah, 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 blah. The thought of a product, music group, or even a practice believed to bring about healing, being tied to Satan, the dragon, was scandalous in my school-age years, but today, New Age, Wicca, and unvarnished Satanism can be found in places we all live, work, and play. This trend is rarely spoken of. Ignoring it or remaining ignorant will only allow it to potentially enter our lives or that of our families and friends. Oh, like if you were to go and want to say, hey, this looks pretty cool. Gamers want to ride Satan. You flipping... Look, I'm going to go dirty here. You fucking cunting, rushing, asshole, dipshit, window-licking, hypocritical, fanatical, Puritan cunt rashers. I said what I said. You can jump right off your ivory tower with a parachute, and hopefully the parachute fails about 2/3 of the way down, and you land about 100-foot drop into some hay, break a leg or something. I don't want death on anyone or anything bad like that, but you can fuck right off. Fuck off over there. When you get there, continue fucking off. Fuck off till you get back here again, and then you can fuck off again with that shit. Your hypocrisy is what I'm talking about. You want to sit there and preach at people because you believe something. That's great. That's great. There are 3,000 odd plus gods in the world. How about if we talk to any of the other ones, look, which one? None of them are true. They're all fantasy tales. They're all fairy tales. The Bible is not the word of God because that you tell us we've got to take some parts of it metaphorically, but others, no. Those are the real bits until it's inconvenient, and then it becomes a metaphor until it's convenient again, and then it becomes not a metaphor. And that sort of hypocrisy is bullshit. You can fuck right off with that. That's my piece. That's what I've got to say about that, because John F. Trent and John Delaroz and Melanie Mack and obviously Razor Fist and Dred Roberts, all of you Puritan zealot fanatics can fuck off. Seriously, go preach somewhere else. If you want people not to listen to you, that's fine. If you're gonna you probably still have people listening to you because they agree with you, and that's fine, not a problem. But don't go calling people shit when you can't have got shit like this in your closets. I think there's a fair bit of history about Melanie Mack known by now and why she's so anti-gay people and goes around calling people the F and F word, the F, you know what I'm saying, word around on Twitter, because apparently her husband left her for a man. Okay, so that sucks. Get over it. Find someone else. Oh, I mean, probably too late for that. I don't know. I don't care. I don't get into people's personal lives a lot, but, shit like this comes out about people when they go doing things like this. It's not good for your look. I'm not going to watch any of you anymore because you think I'm perverted. Well, not that I won't watch you. I'll keep an eye on shit that you want to say and have a go at and blah, 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 blah. But you're not going to be pulling this shit again. There was a satanic panic, John, and it was people like you that caused it. Christians will not be bullied out of gaming. I didn't bring this one up. Or I did. No, actually I did. Do you think a few words on the internet are going to stop a people whose leader was tortured and put on a cross, wrong cross, take that top bit off, and the T, capital T, is what it would have actually looked like. You picked a fight with the wrong people. We have convictions we'll die for. You don't. Yeah, I do. My conviction to stand up against people like you is pretty goddamn strong, and I will do it every single time. So, I guess come at me, bro. I guess. If you can try it. I'll defend myself. I'll criticize you for the shit you say like this. I'll criticize you for being an absolute hypocrite when you're into furry degeneracy. Like I said, I don't care. Be whatever the fuck you want to be into, but don't have a go at us when you're into shit like this, man. Who the fuck do you think you are? Seriously. Just no. And I'm pretty sure that you've had, obviously, a heap of other Christians say, oh, no, you're not a real Christian. You're a Pharisee. Like, who the hell are you to speak for us? I don't know if that's a meme or not. That might be a Photoshop job, but that's a good one. You guys are literally pathetic. Lots of games over many years have had gay characters with storylines. Grow the fuck up. I would say jumping on a bandwagon of losing, hating on a game due to having choices in an RPG is the gayest. See, this is the thing. Extremes are stupid. If you want to put stuff into your game, make it organic to it. Make it fit the story. Make the game work around if you've got a gay character or a bisexual whatever, rock, or people identify as helicopters, penguins, and things like that. I myself am a squirrel. I don't identify as a squirrel. That's my character name. So, John, you've got no place telling people that they're degenerate, filthy, perverted, etc., etc. Gayer than fruity something. That's funny. Literally a gay furry. What are you talking? Yeah, and yeah, that's the other thing. I'm not going to get into that. Really gay, if you ask me. I'd say both equal. We can't just be a little gay. It's a slippery slope. You're right. Look at this. That's not... John would probably be into that. Look at this shit. What is this? Look, I know Pokemon have an electric rat, and I think they've got some sort of leaf that it has water or something like that. I'm not a Pokemon fan, so I don't even know what the hell this thing is. What the hell is this thing? Is it a fox? What is it? Someone explain it. Can someone explain it to me? What am I looking at here? I'll look into it. Lucario. I've got something else to research now. But yeah, these guys are a pair of massive hypocrites, because John wants to go riding Satan himself. Cool. And John Delaros is a closeted furry, yiffing all over the place. What do you say? What else is left to say? I think I've had my rant for the day, and I would say, look, don't bother with reading any of their shit. If they pop up, call them out. I don't know. I'm not up for cancelling people at all, but these guys are just idiots, and when they go off like this, it sort of makes people not want to have anything to do with you. Which is not something I'd want. I'm paying to get my promotion around. Luckily, this turned out to be the 6th stream, and hopefully I'm going to be just doing some more in the next few weeks, so you guys can expect all of that to start happening. I'm going to get some other stuff happening once I've sorted a few things out. And yeah, I've had my rant today about John Delaros, Melanie Mack, and the two Johns. Obviously, he doesn't want us to support them. Stop scrolling Fandom Pulse for content, then cancelling us, lol. And Hypnotic actually did source where that came from. I mean, everyone says where they get their, you can see that when they bring up a Fandom Pulse article with John Trent's byline on it. So, yeah, there we have it. Massive hypocrites, absolute jokes, really need to take a look in the mirror before they go calling other people horrible things. So, that's my rant for the day, I think. We'll go back to the news desk and I don't have an outro. I'm still working on an outro. I've been busy. I've put together, I've only sort of just fixed up OBS last night and pulled all of this stuff up, ready to go. So, but I will be getting an outro eventually. It's not going to be as long as Hypnotics because here's his intro and outro. I try to get there when Miles Morales is reviving Harry. That's... yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for turning up and having to listen to me rant about this bullshit. Oh my God, this is such bullshit. These guys just really white. I mean, seriously. I am not going to put up with being told as an adult what I can and can't watch, what I can and can't entertain myself with, what I should consider perverted and degenerate, and you are not the arbiter of my entertainment. You're not my supervisor. You're not my supervisor. Stay the fuck away from my... Nah. Nope. Done with that. So anyway, thanks for joining me. And I'll see you guys on the next time I do another one of these streams. Hopefully I get rated by more of Hypnotic. Hopefully I start getting out there. Just post it around. Tell everyone I said hi. Subscribe. Click the buttons, likey, all of that. The things that YouTubers like you to do. And I'll catch you guys next time.